Roxanne passing out after a very tough fight. With me, go Sodom the final boss. Oh my, they are even doing a stretcher job. And commentary just lays the fuck out for Roxanne being stretchered out. Roxanne being stretchered out. They're selling her being stretchered out. Roxanne! I'm John Rant with my review WWE NXT Roadblock. End of the line. Okay, it isn't Roadblock, end of the line. That was about 7 years ago. Hard to believe we're coming up on the 7-year anniversary of Roadblock. End of the line. And let me just tell you, while I understand what they were trying to do with this show, they were really trying to make it a big TV special. Goodness goddamn me, this is a horrible goddamn misfire. Almost as much of a misfire as my terrible singing that I will continue to do because I'm having fun. Trying to. More fun than I had watching some of this schlock. Yeah, I didn't really care for this show all that much, and I will explain why in due course. Tiffany's Epiphanies. Tiffany Stratton Stone just there as if just talking about the card and everything, and hell of a bodysuit. Gotta say, that was a hell of a look. She's talking about all this stuff. And, remain in character talking about this. This was fine. It did make the specials seem, well, more special. And then we got a special stipulation match, a jailhouse street fight, with the old shark cage there just placed in the entranceway of the very, very small Capitol Wrestling Center that can seat maybe 500 people at the most. I don't even know if it can seat 500 people. Anyway, Tony D'Angelo and Stacks in his corner, that is, taking on Dijak. Jailhouse street fight. You must throw somebody in the little cagey deal right there. Throw them in the, what's in that cage? A shark or something? Thanks, Nick. Anyway, you gotta throw them in there and you gotta lock the door. Simple. Okay, so Dijak. Big old near 7-foot guy that can do some impressive stuff, or at least he's 6'6" And Tony D'Angelo is a character that people do care for. I don't know who is supposed to be the bad guy or the good guy here. And normally that doesn't bother me, but it seemed like Dijak was pissed at Tony D'Angelo cheating him out of a match, or cheating him out of a chance to win the North American Championship against Wes Lee. In a pretty terrific match at Vengeance Day. And I didn't have high hopes for this match, but I had hopes that it wouldn't be too bad, and it ended up being basically a weapons garbage-filled schlock fest. I don't mind the fact that you do no DQ matches here and there. The thing is so many no DQ matches are happening on so many wrestling programs. They all blend together. And if you implement weapons here and there, it means something. Otherwise, if you just rely on the weapons, then guess what? You're just going to have people cheering for spots and not cheering because you're putting your bodies on the line. Dijak pulls his stick out and hits Stacks because he has the nightstick. He's law and order. He's going to serve hard time. Gonna serve hard time. Felt like I was being beaten about the head and face with a goddamn nightstick watching this. This was goofy and stupid. We get a stack of chairs. Elbow drop through a table. I mean, Dijak can get some distance. He's an impressive athlete. I mean, that would have been cool, except they already did stacks of chairs and a whole bunch of other stuff and everything, and Stacks got laid out a few times. Tony goes nuts. Dijak hits a low blow on him. Hits feast your eyes, of course. And then Stacks stops the door from being slammed and everything by throwing his body. I'll just use my body here. Ow, I need that to live. And then suddenly Tony D pulls out a Devon Storm, a crowbar, hits him, and Tony D wins. This was not good. This is not good at all. Not that this feud has been great, but goddamn, this is not a great start. And then we get Mackenzie with Roxanne, who, look, Roxanne is bright, is bubbly, has a personality that you want to root for as far as being somebody that is very good at what she does, that is going to just get better with age because she is this good, this young. She is not good on promos. She is not good at all. She looks more like a deer in the headlights than Jim Crockett Jr. did. And he always looked like he was being held hostage whenever he was on camera. So, talking about facing Mako, she lost her before. She's not going to lose this time. It's the biggest match of her career. She has to win. And then Briggs is trying to apologize to Kiana on behalf of Jensen because of the whole thing at Valentine's Day and all this. And this is on a wrestling program. This high school drama bullshit is on a wrestling program. Also, there's a thing of roses with a note on it that says Kiana, but oh, Jensen must have sent you these. And she pulls a note and everything and puts it in her book. And maybe it's from a client. Maybe she's not actually cheating on Jensen. Why do I care? I don't know why I care, because this is stupid. Kiana looks great. She looks like she can lift the goddamn world. She's impressive looking. Gia, her assistant, my goddamn goodness. I have seen this movie before, by the way. But this is high school drama bullshit is what I wrote down. And I'm like, these people are better than this. Or at least Kiana could be better than this. Gia, I don't know what they exactly plan to have her do, except look pretty and wear outfits, which seems to be the general thing that they're having her do. I mean, I don't know if she was ever hired as a wrestler, just hired to be a manager, but nevertheless. Gallus then cuts a promo. At least I think Gallus is cutting a promo. I can't understand a goddamn thing these guys say. Gallus, boys on top. That's about all I get. Speaking of people I don't get, or want to get, or like at all, Pretty Deadly Glory are here. They are going to do a feud and have a feud over the NXT Tag Team Championships. And I wrote down at this point, I remember when tag team wrestling mattered in WWE. And I remember when it mattered in NXT. We went from DIY, the Revival, even the fucking Authors of Pain. We went from great goddamn tag teams, the Undisputed Era being tag team champions, Peter Dune, being a tag team champ or being a tag team competitor at one point. We've gone from pretty damn good tag teams to Pretty Deadly Glory and Gallus. Rise of Lyra, by the way, Lyra Valkyria, I think is her name. Rise of Lyra just sounds better. I don't stumble over the words saying that. She's talking about seeking battles and wanting a shot at the NXT Women's Championship. She looks good, so hopefully she gets more opportunities. And she impressed me in a couple matches she had. Pre-tape on JD McTuna and Dragunov. Dragunov being like a mob boss, saying he's going to destroy McTuna. Hey, they signed Dragon Lee is what I wrote down. They signed him at either the very end of 2022 or the early part of this year. I genuinely don't remember when they announced they signed him. I know it was been the last couple months, but nevertheless, good. They remembered he's there. Maybe he can face Wes Lee. It can be Lee versus Lee. Dragon Lee can face his cousin. I kid, of course. Steiner and the Creeds against Jinder Sher. So it's Jinder, Veer, and Sangha. One, I like the fact that the Creeds and Steiner had matching gear. I don't mind this trio. I think this could work. And I was looking somewhat forward to this, despite the fact Jinder was in it. And oh dear, this was bad. This was really, really bad. Messy. I think that any spots that were trying to be called, it was like they were underwater. They were confused. Sangha, and I don't feel one way or another about Sangha. He's been impressive in short bursts. And him and Veer are a hard-hitting team because they're big guys, so what else can they be? Did Sangha have food poisoning? Was he hit in the head? Did his beard decide to overtake and override his brain and basically not make him do anything right? Because he was botching a whole lot. This was insane. I don't know what the hell was going on here. This was bad. He was confused on some spots. There were so many sloppy spots. And yes, they're big guys, so they shouldn't just go up for everything, like lighter than air. But I'm seeing some stuff where I'm like, is he sandbagging? Is he okay? What is happening here? This was really messy. Carmelo joins commentary during the break. Veer ends up hitting Sanga's legs trying to break up a pin. I think knocks the wind out of himself doing that because he's like, oh, God. And then a cannonball pins Veer. I mean, I didn't expect much from this match, and Jesus Christ, it somehow fell below my expectations. This was not good. This was not good at all. The Grayson Waller effect with Shawn Michaels. They sing Shawn Michaels' theme. Big time reaction. It's cool. Shawn coming out and doing the dancing, despite the fact that he's closing in on 60. Because he was 44, 45 when he retired. And that was 2010. So yeah, he's 56, 57 by this point, depending on when his birthday is. think his birthday's sometime in the summer. The whole point is he's 56 now. But just he comes out because the whole thing is Grayson Waller is upset. Shawn Michaels is holding him back, and this was very unfair to Shawn Michaels, by the way, for Grayson expecting him to for Shawn to give him his undivided attention, because Shawn, unfortunately, even though he was trying to focus on Waller, he also had one eye on the crowd. So nevertheless, Shawn, you'd think he'd be a great teacher, but no, he can't even control his pupils. I'm done making the eyesight jokes, I promise. So Grayson, says he doesn't care who he pisses off, and that's good, because Grayson pisses off a whole lot of people. Grayson is insufferably good at getting people to not like him. He is insufferably good as far as stuff he can do in the ring. And he compares, saying like, oh, well, Vince held you back because you were too small. Actually, he kind of fucking coddled him in 96 and 97. And even the early part of 98. Until Shawn's back injury, his career debilitating back injury, caused him to have to leave for about 4 years. And then he conveniently came back when WCW... Okay, nevertheless, let's stop talking about those conspiracy theories. He says the only reason he's in charge is because of Triple H's heart attack, which, yes, Triple H had his cardiac and his, heart issues. I'm glad Triple H is still around, because he's got kids, and the kids should be able to have their father while they're growing up. And Shawn talks about the past and everything, the past talents, the current talents and everything. And yes, Grayson, you are a part of it, but you are not all of it. And then Grayson says, I should be all of it. I'm a star. By the way, if you haven't seen Pearl, goddamn watch Pearl. It's fucking amazing. Mia Goth deserves a goddamn Oscar for this. This was an incredible performance. If you haven't seen X, you probably have no idea what this is. If you don't know what horror is, and by God you should, this is great. It's like The Wizard of Oz meets What Happened to Baby Jane meets Insanity. That's about it. Anyway, enough about Pearl. Let's talk about this. I have a review of Pearl on the Real Honest Movie Reviews playlist if you want to hear that. So HBK says, well, you stop knocking the brand, Waller. You're not going to knock the brand. Waller says, how about you put those boots on, put in the tights, one more match? And Shawn says, no. Because I would like to do that. People have backed up the Brinks truck and everything, and he's never come out of retirement. Oh, he did for a Saudi show, which I'm sure he got a boatload of money for. Didn't hide his shame, but it didn't pay off the shame of that match, that is, but he got a boatload of money. And he says someone wants to whip his ass even more. And this man bleeds NXT, and it is Johnny Gargano. Well, it's nice knowing you, stand deliver. How dare you? How dare you make me have to endure a Johnny Gargano match? And Gargano attacks and feigns the kick, but Waller powders. Look, from a storyline point, it makes sense. Because it was late 2021 late 2021, early 2020, I'm genuinely trying to remember because so much of that 2.0 bullshit blends together. But they tried to really build up Waller by having him take out Gargano, and Gargano's contract was up. He left for a while. And then he came back after Candice had the kid, and they were able to be there for the kid for a little bit. And then they decided to come back to wrestling because Triple H is in charge. And Triple H feels that those two are good for Raw. But there's a story there. Waller took Gargano out, so now Gargano's back for revenge. This would have more impact if Gargano hadn't been doing a whole bunch of goddamn stupid shit on Raw, but I digress. I don't care about this match, but I get why they're doing it. So, Gigi Dolan does not get a goddamn TV entrance. She's already in the ring. JC Jane gets a TV entrance. And okay, it's a grudge match, and ooh, is what I was saying. Like, I was looking somewhat forward to this. Gigi, she's not the best in singles matches. She's not, her and Thunder Rosa had a great match. That was about just over 4 years ago, actually, now, as of this recording. And she can work, but JC clearly is the bigger of the two as far as star power. But you're just like my mother, Gigi. And they're trying to make this personal, but it was like they were wrestling in quicksand. I'm a fan of JC Jane. And I praised Gigi in the past. They were a hell of a team. JC should be poised to be the bigger star here. And it was like they were underwater. It was like something was going on here. I don't understand it. This is way off. We get a weird cradle pin, like a weird pump handle cradle pin type thing. 1, 2, 3, and Gigi gets a clean victory. JC attacks her. JC had introduced the chair earlier, got the chair, was going to Pillmanize her neck. Then officials come out and stop that and everything. And I guess we're getting a street fight or something at Stand Deliver, where JC will probably win. Or JC loses and then goes up to Raw or SmackDown. I don't know what the hell they were doing here, and this match was not great. Speaking of not great, Fallon Henley and Jensen were talking. More high school bullshit. And Briggs shows up. Jensen gets a call from Kiana and goes off there. And this is after Fallon had, or Briggs had said, hey, great idea with the roses on her desk. And Jensen's like, yeah, what? And then Fallon says, well, he didn't give her the roses, so let's do something about that. I has an idea. Here's my idea. Steiner coming out to booze. How dare you, Capital Wrestling fans? How dare you? How dare you, Capital Wrestling Center? You guys basically get in for like a pit. Do the tickets cost anything to get in there? Genuine question. Do the tickets cost anything to get in there? If so, what are the prices for the Capital Wrestling Center, capacity? Anyway. So he says it's time for him and Carmelo to face off. So Carmelo comes down. They praise each other. They talk about how they watch each other, game film, all that stuff. This at least made it feel like a real wrestling promotion, Pinocchio. But it's a show of respect. It's just a little respect. It's Eraser. Just a little respect to me. And there we go. So, okay, this is going to be a hell of a main event. I am looking forward to this. Main event, Stand and Deliver. Tyler Bay is trying to get Thea to calm down. And then Chase University stuff keeps going. Dookie Nukie Hudson calls bullshit on Tyler's snake oil stuff. Funny that Dookie Nukie would say that. Andre Chase with Chase U took on Joe Wayne Gacy with the schism. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell. How dare you, NXT? How dare you? It's not even personal against these two. Gacy can work. He can fly around pretty good for a bigger guy. And Andre Chase isn't a terrible worker. But I hate this. I hate this feud. Thea runs up to Ava. I'm not scared of you. Who did this? Who booked this? I just want to talk. By putting a fist right in their goddamn face because this is terrible. By the way, Joe Wayne Gacy wins. None of this mattered. What did matter was me fawning over Isla Dawn. Good grief. Just blowing out a candle, and I can't say what I'm thinking. I can't. God forbid if any Isla Dawn fans are watching this or this clip goes to Isla Dawn. Seriously, she is great. She is gorgeous. She is just captivating. And her and St. Elbo's Fire talk about Casey or Katana and Caden and all the weird stuff and everything with the tag titles, and I don't understand what the deal was, but they were upset about things. Okay. And more Chase U shit, and Dookie Nukie is upset. Isla Dawn looked incredible, by the way. I just want to say that. Wesley has another open challenge. I think Axie and Verge wanted to answer it, because you can see it in his eyes, because he's wearing a mask. Get it? That joke was funny the first couple times. They've been doing it for about 6 months. Gargano will be here next week. That's the only announcement we have. Oh, I can feel the ratings plummeting. So, Roxanne entrance, Mako entrance. Mako Satomura. Mako, not the Mako Energy from Final Fantasy VII, just so you know. Mako Satomura versus Roxanne Perez. NXT Women's Championship. This was basically just Mako beating the shit out of Roxanne. Roxanne gained a few flurries. And there you go. By the way, the bell rang and we went right to break. Mako controlled 90% of this match. Roxanne would get flurries, but she was tired. She was selling the whole thing of like she was exhausted. Which, yes, wrestling Mako Satomura would definitely be tough because Mako's been around for a while. Not around as long as Zoe Stark, who was around when, Japan was first founded and everything and first colonized, but I digress. I'll do the job. Mako saying, I'll do the job, and I'm going to beat the shit out of her. So, yeah, suddenly, the scorpion rising kick on the floor. So, Roxanne hits the floor. That probably should have knocked her out. She gets her foot on the rope when they get back in. And then suddenly hits a roll up out of nowhere. 1, 2, 3. And then Mako presents the title to her. And Roxanne just does a face plant like Shawn Michaels in November of 1995 when he got beat up by 30 Marines. It was actually 1 when he hit on the guy's girlfriend. And he did the concussion thing and all that and everything. Okay, so basically they end the whole thing with officials, Booker T, Shawn Michaels. They get a stretcher out there immediately. They got all these people out there. They got, oh, we got to clear this out. Get her. Go, 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 go. And they sold this really well, or at least tried to. They got her out to the ambulance. Oh, let's get her out here. Here's the thing. I'm sure she was exhausted. This clearly was kayfabe. This clearly was something that was just a work. At least I hope so, because otherwise they really were dickish filming this whole thing. I'm sorry, but just this was just not that. This was not good. This made me just think, oh, that's it. You're serious. That's what you're gonna goddamn do. Yay! We're gonna end on a cliffhanger. Hey, folks, the NXT Women's Champion might die of exhaustion. Tune in next week. It was certainly a roadblock. It was more like a cinder block to the goddamn head. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Rickland. I'll see you soon.